Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
What's going on?
Hey, bro, have you heard that new song by Ed Sheeran called Bad Habits?
Yeah,
It's a pretty
I think I have.
Yeah, that's a nice song, bro. DJ Rude Boy in the mix.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
goodness. Yeah, let's jam that for a minute.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time the sun goes down, I let you take control. I can feel the paradise before my world implodes. And tonight had something wonderful. My bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone. Conversations with a stranger I barely know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes stare into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out.
Gotta love Ed Sheeran, man. Gotta love him. Sounds like one of your favorite tracks back in the day, B.
Yeah.
That's one of them ones where you
And you know what? I'm not going to get into it too much, but I don't care for him, actually.
what?
Yeah,
That's
that
just
dude,
disrespect.
he
It's
jacks
just
other
disrespect. Let
people's
me.
lyrics and stuff, and
Oh
I'm just,
my
yeah,
God, that's just
yeah, no.
disrespect, man.
Yeah, well, he
How?
disrespects other people. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm
okay,
down. Yeah, that's all
okay,
good. So
okay.
yeah,
Well,
so there's some controversy for you guys. Feel free to leave your hate comments on the website. Did you hear about
welcome,
this podcast host? He really freaking hates this guy.
welcome to the
Uh,
Recovering Addict.
yeah,
I
welcome.
am Rich Ray. I am a recovering addict.
And I'm Brandon. I'm the recovering addict as well.
Yeah.
And I'm Izzy, and I'm a recovering addict.
Yes, thank you
What's up?
guys
What's
so
up?
much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our fourth episode. We are rocking and rolling, man. This is episode
Yes,
4 called Shedding the
the
Shame.
shame. Oh,
Or
long
or
awaited.
or yeah. don't mess with me now on that. Or as my flyer guy would put it, shredding the shame. I was like, which one
There you
is it?
go.
Shedding or shredding the shame? I was like,
Little of
shredding
both.
is cool. Yeah, it's
It's a
it's it's
little of
pretty
both.
cool. Pretty
Yeah, yeah.
cool. So yeah, this was one of the ones that Brandon he came up with a list right when we were creating the show. He came up with a list, and this was one of the ones that stood out to me, and definitely stood out to our co-host. And we wanted to bring in Mr. Izzy, a good friend of mine, to come in and share his story on this one. Brandon, bro, why
Yes.
why did you come up with this one, bro?
Well, I mean, when we started the show in orientation, we talked about the idea of the fact that this whole entire focus for the show is all about changing perspective.
Right.
If you shift perspective, what do they say? Knowing is half of the battle. And I think that probably the number one thing that I see in the recovery process, and anybody that's even considering recovery before they even take the step to go get help, is the shame. And the shame is that fear to say, so much rushes in on your mind and your emotions when you're thinking about it, and you're like, well, what do I do? Like, what if my mom and dad find out about this? What if, my brothers and sisters think less of me? What if my best friends think less of me because I'm, it's obviously going to be out in the open, and I think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people don't realize, like we've talked about before, this is a disease.
Yeah.
It's not just a fly by night kind of thing. It really is. There is medically something going on in your brain. We talked about that on the last episode, just one part of it, which was, the effects of MDMA or ecstasy on your brain, and how it, can create literal holes in your brain. There's a lot of stuff that people don't realize. And when you start really digging into that, it's like, okay, let's shed that shame. Let's toss
Right.
that aside. And we've talked about too, about, there's people that are wealthy that have been very successful. There's a lot of people with very respectable jobs, respectable positions, and they just don't feel brave enough and they're scared to sit there and step out and say, hey, I really need to get help, or maybe they even know they need help, but they really are just afraid about the shame that they are, a lot of them too, they're saying, hey, I'll take the shame on myself, but I don't want to put shame on my family.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. So they're not real sure, how are people going to react,
Right.
And so, we've talked about taking the stigma out of the shame of getting help. Right. And if you have cancer, you're going to go get help, and you're going to be okay with telling everybody about that. Right. If you've got diabetes, or you've got, some kind of other form of sickness or disease, or, seizures or whatever, epilepsy, it doesn't matter what it is, but if you have that problem, you have no shame to tell your family that, and you're probably going to go to them for help and support. And so if you realize that this is kind of sitting in that same kind of category, it is. And you need to go ahead and just say, hey, you know what, forget it. I'm going to just shed the shame. And so it's also about being real with yourself and real with others about the past, and talking about the reality of what you went through. I had a conversation with Izzy a little bit before we even started the show, and we were talking because, we used to all hang out together. He doesn't remember me much, but we don't remember each other hardly at all anyway. It was a blur.
It was a blur.
But we used to hang out in the club and stuff, so we were just talking about a good friend of ours that passed away, actually, as well, that hung out with us as well, and so may he rest in peace. Wow. But there's a lot of stuff that we've done to people that, if we could take it back, we would. There's a lot of stuff that we've done to people that we may not remember. How in the world did that happen? Why is this person not talk to me anymore? Izzy told me about somebody. He's like, I wish I could remember what I did to him, because he won't talk to me no more. And so, those are some things. I got some similar situations. It's just like, man, I racked my brain thinking, what happened?
Right.
And so this is all about shedding that shame and getting to the bottom of it, and just saying, you know what, guys, we're just going to tell you the truth. And a lot of it, you're going to get a laugh out of it. Some of you are going to go, ooh, that's cringy, but that's what this is. This is Recovering Addict, raw and real, and that's what we're here to do.
So I of course, the last episode was called Coming Out of the Dark. And the reason why I wanted to put Coming Out of the Dark before shedding the shame is we want to move the show in a process of recovery for addicts who are watching, and even, kind of relate to recovering addicts, people who are watching. We want to show the process of going through recovery. And one of the first things that you have to do is come out of the dark about your actual addiction. And then, of course, the next thing is to present those things. Like when you go to NA or AA, you have to present those things that are embarrassing, those things that you're done, that's going to make it uncomfortable for you. I feel like a lot of people do not move. They do not go into recovery because they're afraid to point and pick at those things that make people feel uncomfortable or themselves feel uncomfortable. And so that's what we're trying to do with this particular episode. And that's what we want to, that's the message of this episode. You got to shed that shame. You got to realize that everybody falls. Everybody makes mistakes. Now, addicts, we may make a little bit more mistakes than others, okay? Right. But that's a part of the disease. That is a part of the struggle that we go through. But once an addict gets to that point where they're coming out of the dark and they're trying to release that shame, then it is up to those who are listening, family and friends, to not steer away from them, because a lot of people, man, I don't want to be around that person, but to actually, it's a part of the recovery to love that person, to love them through that, to forgive them through that after they make that amends.
And help them shed that shame. You know what I mean? Like the more you feed back on them and say, hey, look, brother, sister, mom, dad, daughter, son, listen, I already understand that you came forward and it took a lot for you to get real with everybody, so take some of that burden off them. I know you're not gonna be able to do it all because it is on them to go ahead and get through that process. But hey, if you have it within your heart to go ahead and be real with them and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna help you get through this, and we're gonna help you shed some of that shame as well. We're gonna take some of the stigma out and just let you know, hey, we're here for you.
Right.
You know, we may have to back up some things while you're in the midst of this recovery process. It might get a little crazy, but we know that eventually when you get through it, it's going to get better, you know, so we do understand that too. So, you know, because there's a lot of crazy you have to kind of go through when you're getting through that process of recovery. You're going to act out, you're going to lash out, you're going to talk, and we've talked about that too, you know.
Right.
So there's some things you gotta get right, you know. So
we're going to bring it up. I'm going to read you something right quick. You know, I always have to do my studying through the week. I'm going to read you something that I read about shame. And I don't know where it came from, but anywho, shame holds us back and it keeps us from living a full life. It keeps us from aligning with a purpose and finding fulfillment. It keeps us trapped in cycles of self-deprecation, where we think and speak of ourselves with kindness, unkindness, and treat ourselves with cruelty. We become self-destructive and self-sabotaging. We self-harm either in obvious ways, such as physically hurting ourselves, or in more covert ways, such as addictive patterns we conceal from other people and the mental illnesses we develop that can be hard to pinpoint. Get it together, Richard. Shedding our guilt. Here's the part I wanted to mention. Shedding our guilt and shame means softening our approach with others and our view of ourselves. It means choosing to see ourselves not as horrible. How many times have you seen yourself as horrible? God dog it. As horrible, morally bankrupt sinners, but as people who were hurting, who made mistakes from a place of pain. Last thing I wanted to mention from that, it says we have a hard time making amends to the people we've hurt because we're so consumed with the shame. I'm gonna stop right there. So that draws me to the next point that I wanted to make, okay, called making amends. Okay. And Brandon, stop me if I'm going too far, because I know you have a bunch you want to share about the shame, but I'm moving forward with the script.
No, you're good.
So I'm going to tell a story. Okay. And I'm going to make this story really quick. So I had an ex-girlfriend and I've got 1,000 of those. Would you like to be my next one? No.
Sex addiction is actually on one of the future episodes.
That's not me. That's not me. I don't fall in that category. Okay. So I have
spoken like a true addict.
I have an ex-girlfriend. Okay, and so a while back. Okay. I'm just going
long time ago.
Long couple of weeks ago. No, I'm just playing. No. Okay. No. Anyways, so one day I had gotten drunk, just gotten super drunk, right? And me and her were, going through something, but it was nothing just to go crazy about. So anyways, I'm just super drunk. I'm in that mode where it's just like, I'm not going to remember this tomorrow. And I'm feeling this way. So something's about to happen when I open this door and go into this doggone house and you're laying in my bed. So it is raining. It is literally storming outside. Right. And I go and I lay in my bed and I'm drunk and I just blacked out. OK, so apparently I got up. I am telling her, get out of my house. During the storm, get out of my house, get out. I don't want you anymore. I'm pulling her clothes out of my closet, just throwing them down, just dancing around the house, laughing. She was like, Richard, you look like the damn Joker. I'm like, dude. So
thank you.
Why so serious?
Why so serious? Let's put a smile on my face.
I'm like, okay. So I'm literally throwing her out in the rain, bro. In the rain, right? Yeah. So so that is done. That's over. And I right now, just thinking about it, I feel so bad for doing it. Now my disease had taken over. No man should do that to a woman. No man. Yeah, so I don't give props to myself or any man to do that. But I'm just being honest right now. Okay. My disease had taken over. So kicked her out. She went on her way in the rain. I wake up the next day and I am like, of course, hungover. And it wasn't until the next day when I'm like, got stuff out of my system where I'm like, dude, what the hell did you just do? Why did you do that? So I've been taught, I have a good family, and my parents have taught me, Richard, you have to go to that person and ask for forgiveness. That was just wrong. And it's just weighing on me for 24 hours. So I give her a call, and I'm apologizing to her. I'm apologizing, and at that time, because I still got a little bit of in me, like I'm the best way I know how. And she says, she's like, Richard, and the way I'm apologizing is almost saying, hey man, please come back to me. Please, please come back to me. But she's like, Richard, it's not that simple. Like, you have to make an amends. You have to make an amends, and then you have to do things to earn my trust back, right? So at that time, I'm handling it all wrong till we get into an argument again. We hang up the phone, and I get on this site. Like, I like to, if somebody tells me to do something, and if it has some substance, like giving me some advice, if it has some substance, I like to go research on how to actually activate that, how to actually walk that out. So I went to a couple of different sources and found out, I Googled basically how to truly make amends with someone. And all of these sources were kind of, like leading me in the same direction on how to make amends, right? So one particular source says, and this is powerful stuff, because a lot of times us addicts, we are going to be making apologies. And a lot of times people just stop hearing those apologies. After a while, they're just like, forget it. You've done it so many times, just forget it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This particular time, I was actually moving forward in my recovery. I should not have been drinking. I should not have been doing what I was doing. So I was moving forward in my recovery, and I meant it. I meant, like I was truly asking for forgiveness, and I really meant to make amends. So that particular document says, allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? Ask yourself why you are making amends. Consider the reason for the fallout. Apologize sincerely. I did that. Lower your pride. That is a tough thing, especially for guys, to lower our pride. Avoid making excuses. That is a tough thing, especially for addicts. Yep. Listen to their side of the story. Ask how you can make things right. Give the other person time and space to process the apology. Okay. Yep. That's good stuff right there. That's really good stuff.
It is.
Now, you got anything you want to say on that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, well, what's that famous verse people like to talk about, in the Bible, was it James, the book of James or whatever, where it says, slow to speak, slow to wrath. And I think that that's a application that anybody can apply to their life, no matter where you stand religiously. But, I mean, just it's a good thing to think before you speak, before you let words come out of your mouth, because silence is certainly much better than throwing daggers that you have to go figure out how you're going to pull the daggers out later on, and I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed in my whole life, is for the longest time, I felt like I could just go ahead and lash out, and I could put it all under the umbrella and category of, well, I'm going through something, or I'm struggling with this, or, I'm just very upset. And I was very upset at that time. So you just need to understand that. Now, I am sorry. Yeah, that's the excuses. Right. I'm sorry. Right. And I'm giving you a sincere apology, but you need to, but the person is saying, well, wait a minute though. You already stated everything you really feel, all these things that really came out in you, and you're telling me I just need to go ahead and just snap my fingers and be fine. Right. But it's not their job to guard their heart on your behalf. It's our job to guard everyone else around us when we're going through that process, because as we do that, our responses are going to have a lot more wisdom, a lot more tact, and we're going to think twice on the way we communicate, and so that is definitely our responsibility, and we have to own that.
How many times have y'all heard somebody say, whenever your feelings that come out when you're drunk are actually
your real
the
feelings.
true feelings?
Yeah.
I'm
how many times have you said it?
Oh my
yeah,
goodness!
exactly.
Dude. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because when somebody blacks out, I mean, if you just black out, I don't know, man. You may be like in a state of rage, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. Now, I think it can be 50-50. I have a guest that says a drunk man don't lie.
Yeah.
Sure,
oh man,
I don't know about that one, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. We'll have to get back to that one, because I'm pretty sure that's
some of my best lies came from being drunk.
That's the slithery slimy, the slithery slimy. Yeah, baby. Yeah. You hear what your boy say?
Especially when you're trying to pick someone up in the bar. Yeah, that's definitely loaded with lies.
Goodness, man, it's called liquid courage. You know what I'm saying? Liquid courage ain't mean that brother lying. I'm just trying to slither my way. Anyways, on to the next. So what we decided to do right now is we wanted to give the right and wrong ways of how to make amends with someone. Okay. So Brandon is going to play my ex-girlfriend, and I am going to be the full-blown apologetic addict. Okay, so this is the wrong way of trying to make an amends with somebody. Okay,
and I'm gonna make it tough on you. Of
course, you're gonna make it tough on me.
Get into character.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a call. Ring.
Click.
What the? Okay, hold on. Let me try this again, please. Ring.
Click.
God. Okay, come on, man. Please let her pick up, please. Ring.
Rich, stop calling me. We're done. You got to stop calling.
I know we're done. I know you said that, and I understand that, and I just wanted to do us right. I just wanted to apologize. Will you just give me?
Oh, you just want to apologize? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. But I heard that before.
I know you've heard it before, but I'm trying. I'm truly trying. You should see me. I'm trying. Okay, I'm taking classes. You see me going to alcoholic.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just let me talk, please.
Oh no! So now you're gonna snap at me. Oh, okay. You're in a position to be snapping at me,
dude. This is the reason why. Because you never let anyone talk. Okay.
Oh,
please.
So it's my fault. Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Okay.
Oh, now we're getting louder. Okay.
Okay, maybe it is your fault then. Okay. As a matter of fact.
Okay.
Well, you know what? This conversation is going nowhere. It's going nowhere. Click.
You got that right. Mm-hmm.
That is the wrong way of making amends, and it has happened many times. Think about that for a minute, recovering addicts.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay. We're going to try to do the right way.
Too many memories rushing back.
We're going to try to do the right way, and I'm going to try to deflect.
All my exes over Texas and other states are going, yeah, that's right. I remember that conversation right now. They're just like, forget this choker. They're hanging up on the podcast right now because they're having flashbacks.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. They're like, man, finally, somebody's bringing this into the light.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Anybody who's dealt with that before, I'm sorry, man. I'm shedding the shame right now. You should
Every
just be
lady
like,
right now is just going, man, that's right. Yes. Oh my
okay,
gosh.
all right. We're gonna try to see if we can do it the right way. Bro, you gotta be a little bit easier on me. That's
Oh
really
no, they
tough.
wouldn't be easy on
You're
you.
right. You're right. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this.
Yeah, all right. What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep calling?
I truly just want to talk. I truly just want to talk. I truly just want to ask for your forgiveness. All right.
There's really not much to talk about.
And you're right. You are totally right. There is not much to talk about. But before we've already made our decision to split, and I need you to know that I am so sorry. I've said this many times before. I've said it, and I know that I need recovery. I know that I need to move forward and get this stuff out of my system. Okay, but I'm not going to make any excuses to you. I'm not going to make any excuses. I was wrong, and no man should ever do that to any woman. Okay, so I just need you to know that I am sorry. I need you to know that I am moving forward for my next relationship to be a better man. Okay, I don't deserve you. I do not. And I do thank you for hearing me out. If there is anything that I could do to make this better, to help you to understand that I apologize, you let me know. But I'm going to give you time. I'm going to give you as much time as you need. I'm going to give you whatever you need so that you will know that my heart feels the pain. I feel that pain that I've caused you. Okay. And I understand that I need help. So,
Well, Rich, you got to understand that you can't just spout off whatever you want to say and then come back and say these kinds of apologies. I mean, I do appreciate you trying to apologize, but you got to get a hold of that. You got to get it figured out, man.
you will.
So.
I will. And I thank you. I appreciate you for always being there. I appreciate you for dealing with my mess. You know, you are a good woman. You're a very good woman. And
Sorry, I can't keep the character anymore. But yeah, you guys see what the idea. Yeah. Oh boy. Y'all get the idea.
We got the idea.
Yeah.
The right way and the wrong
Yeah.
way to make amends.
Oh man.
Put it in your scripts, man. It's gonna help.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was
man.
wonderful. Okay, on to the meat and the bulk of the show. You got to come after that, Izzy. You got to come after that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. What's going on, Izzy? So glad you're with us today.
Gosh.
I appreciate you. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for coming. You got some stuff to talk about, brother. You got some shame to shed.
Yeah, man. I mean, what Recovering Addict doesn't have some shame to shed. So
Yeah.
Well, we're all in.
You got the floor, man. Go for it. Tell us
again,
your
guys,
story.
I appreciate y'all, having me on. And like Brandon and I were talking earlier. There's just so much I don't remember. And I don't want to be one of those guys using, everything I did as an excuse with making amends with things, making excuses. There are parts I can remember. I can remember being as young as in junior high and walking across the street, smoke a bowl right before school. Like it was nothing. To do that on a regular basis, and that's probably when my abusive use for anything start to happen. I've got one of those addictive personalities. Abraham Lincoln said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." So if I was going to be a drug addict, I was going to be the best, and I was going to do it young.
Wow.
So, that's a new philosophy right there.
That's a saying that I truly love. But unfortunately, I think I took it. There's times in my life where I've taken it too far, and when like we said, shedding the shame, and I don't so much have shame anymore than what I've done. Started young, smoking, like I'm sure a lot of people might have. Started young, drinking. And then it was drinking and pills. I mean, there are times that I can remember, being out in places and popping painkillers and drinking alcohol at the same time. I'm pretty sure it says right on the bottle not to drink with alcohol.
Right.
That was the way
yeah.
to wash it down,
Yeah.
and that
Oh
was
my
the only way I washed it down was
Yeah.
with tons of alcohol. And I hate that I don't remember so much, because there are so many people that I need to make amends with, and I don't know what I did to them. I don't know how I hurt them or in which way I hurt them. We all go back way back to some clubbing days,
Yeah.
and we've seen some things, heard some things,
Yeah.
done some things ourselves, and being in that atmosphere. I don't want to use that as a scapegoat, but it's having so much access to whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
Free alcohol, the amount of cocaine
Mm.
that was distributed at places that I worked at, or places I just hung out at.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
that's we all, that's probably one of the biggest ones in the club industry is that cocaine, and it was something that in my mind, I allowed myself, once I got a hold of it, I couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And Brandon, we were talking earlier, and you told a really good story about being able to come out and open with somebody important in your life, and I could never do that. I was never someone who could do that. I had no problem putting uh, enough cocaine to kill a horse up my nose,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
couldn't bring myself to let somebody know that I have a problem. I knew
Yeah.
there was a problem. Especially as I got older. I mean, Rich and I had a conversation that, my wife now, she's someone that probably should not be where we are right now, but with someone who never gave up on me, and it's been my biggest supporter getting clean and getting sober. And there were times where she wanted to know where that money was from the bar, and slow night, but in reality, it was $400 worth of cocaine put up my nose.
Man.
I mean, and did religiously. There are people who take showers religiously. There's people who go to church every weekend, and there's people like myself who every Friday and Saturday night I was going to do cocaine. Now, and it wasn't just a cocaine problem. It was a drinking problem, and for almost 6 years of my life, it was every weekend. Drinking a bottle of Patron on my own.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I'm taking shots
Wow.
I'm taking shots with customers
Oh my
and
goodness.
friends, but let's be honest,
Oh
I'm
my
killing a
goodness.
bottle on myself, but I'm
All
also,
by yourself.
Mm.
Oh my.
putting too much up my nose all by myself,
Wow.
Mhm.
and that's just and again, not to use the bars and the clubs and that service industry as an excuse for anything that I've done or anybody else has done. It's just the availability made it
Yep.
so
Oh yeah.
easy to do it. And we've all, like Rich and I have been together a long time in the bar industry, and when you have those bad nights, okay, well, I know how to make it a good night.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not gonna have that.
Yeah.
Have a night of
Oh
money.
yeah. Oh yeah. It goes from
So
the light to dark when you start drinking. It's like you ain't
Yeah.
worried about nothing. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but
True.
I mean, it's just it's good. It's good now. Once I got away, and Brandon, you brought this up perfectly. Once I was able to step away, and not for my own reasoning, is being let go from the bar, and it's because towards the end it got worse. I got worse. I hurt people. I hurt family members. I hurt coworkers. I hurt some really good friends, and still to this day, I don't know how I hurt those people or what I did to those people, but I would do anything to make amends for it, because
For sure.
I did some damage to some good friendships. I did some damage to some family members that they didn't deserve it.
Right.
It's that whole addict mentality where, I was on something. Yes, yeah, I was, but in reality, I willingly chose to be on something. I couldn't function without making sure I had cocaine in my system. I
Right.
You know, I've got, you know, hey man, we're gonna shed the shame, and sometimes the story's not the prettiest, and you know, I've got kids, and you
Oh,
know,
bro,
I
go
couldn't
ahead.
I couldn't
Yeah.
be part of
Me
the,
too.
you know, I couldn't be part of their sports or their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I you know, with working the nights and not putting something up my nose, just to keep
Mm-hmm.
me going, just so that I could be there at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch them play some kind of ball, but but the night before staying up till 7 o'clock in the morning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and Rich and I, you know, we've talked about it, and I'm sure every addict says it, every recovering addict says it. I shouldn't be here right now.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
know, there have been times where I left the bar, woken up in my bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
not sure how I got home.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure that I didn't hurt someone.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually lost someone very close to me, and again, don't use this as an scapegoat. You know, years back, I lost my sister to a heroin overdose, accidental heroin overdose,
Mm.
and
Wow.
for the longest time, I used her death as a scapegoat, as
Mm.
a oh, you know, I'm out drinking every night. You know, I'm this idiot who was driving around his truck with a 6 pack of open beers, just drinking it, not caring, just driving down the
Mm.
road, drinking a Dos Equis bottle like I'm drinking a bottle of water, driving. And then now I got smart. You know, I put them in 7-Eleven cups with a straw and a lid on it. And you
Yeah.
know, but my, when my wife and I first started dating, that's the sad part of when my wife and I first started dating. When she'd get in my truck, can I drink that? What's in that? No,
Oh
you don't
man.
want what's in that. You
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh
Uh,
my
she'd find water
gosh.
bottles, water
yeah.
bottles
Oh
full
my
of
God! Hey,
vodka,
I had
and
to
and have
I
to
had to slap something out of my daughter's hand one time. I'm
yeah.
just gonna
Yeah.
say it like
Yeah.
that,
So
girl.
that's
Just
Yep.
straight up.
yeah,
Oh gosh, continue,
yeah.
bro. Please
When
continue.
she's got
Hmm.
every water bottle she opens up, she's got to smell it.
Uh,
That's a problem.
that's a problem.
Uh,
Oh my
that's when you
God.
know it's gone too
This ain't
far. Yeah.
water.
Oh
No, it's
my
not. Yeah,
gosh.
That is not Aquafina.
What?
that
That's
is
so
not.
uh,
bad. Oh my.
uh,
That is
Uh, go ahead,
man.
not
bro.
deja blue in that bottle.
No, not
So,
the
But I mean,
Sonic.
even then, even then, I did that. Yeah, not the Sonic. You know,
Yeah.
and the sad thing is, I did that young too. You know, I
yeah.
Mhm.
remember
Yeah.
again junior high sneaking orange juice and vodka to
Oh
school in the
yeah.
morning, or you know, stealing some Southern Comfort from friends' dads
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
putting it in a Coke bottle and sipping it all day. And you know,
Mm,
Yeah.
and now we're laughing, and again it's shedding the shame. You know, today
yeah.
I'm 666 days clean and
Mm.
sober.
What?
Um,
Yeah.
What? Hold on.
yeah,
666.
You trying to throw that past us like that?
666.
Hey, hey, were we supposed to do this show tomorrow so we didn't have it on today?
Yeah. Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
We're
wow.
gonna
When
congratulate
I figured
you.
I had the
Well,
arch. I had the
Uh,
arch behind me.
I see it. I see
Uh,
it. Oh
oh
my,
man, we're gonna have to
bro.
stick it to the
yeah,
devil
I got the
today,
arch
huh?
behind me. So
How long is
Uh,
666? That's over what? We're talking about 2 years,
got
bro.
well, yeah, about
almost,
three.
yeah,
Well,
almost.
oh, a little under two,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, little under two.
oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
November will
man,
be two. So I'm almost at
Wow.
congratulations.
two.
Man,
For the first
congratulations,
time
Congratulations.
man.
in first time in 20 plus years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Um,
That's
so
amazing.
to get to say that, one, to get
Yeah.
to sit here and have this conversation with you guys first and
Yeah.
Hmm.
foremost. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just fantastic, and to
Yeah.
Yeah.
be to have an opportunity to be real and authentic with someone,
Yeah.
and who everyone,
Mhm.
you know, anyone who's listening or anyone who
Yeah.
gets to come
Absolutely.
across this. You know, Rich, you
Mhm.
and I have said it
Yeah.
several times. You know, unfortunately these days people see sharing and you expect, you know,
Mhm.
empathy and give me my
Yeah.
likes
Hmm.
Right.
and click
Right.
and
Right.
watch my videos and give me
Right.
the
Nah.
cares and the
Nah.
hearts, and
Nah.
sometimes sharing is not looking for attention. Sometimes
Nah.
sharing
Nah.
is bringing attention.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
you
You know,
Yeah.
go. That's
I
it.
That's
That's
it.
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect, bro.
yeah.
That is
For sure.
wonderful.
For
Sometimes
sure.
sharing is
That's
bringing
well said.
attention because thank you. Because you may not. I thought I was slick. You know, I for the longest time
Mm.
I was like, man, nobody knows. no one knows. No one knows about the pills. No one knows about the drinking.
Yeah.
No one knows about the cocaine. You know, I mean, and there's other things I've done too. I mean, I didn't, you know, I never thought my wife knew that I was smoking ice in the bathroom at a club we were working at. I was wrong.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
knew, but in my mind as an addict, you know,
Yeah.
she didn't know. I was
Right.
getting away with it, and
Right.
I've had family, you know, pull me to the side and bring it to my attention, and you do the lying, you do the you know, that liquid courage, or you know, how, you know, that snorting courage, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Oh God,
And
that's
you bring out some of your best lies, and you tell them, you know, no, I'm not on anything, you know, I'm not doing anything, and they're not dumb, you know, because you act like a fool, you act like an idiot, drunk, high, you act different, and you treat yourself different, you treat other people around you differently, and they know, and the people know. And I did have some friends after when I started getting clean that came out and said, man, I never knew. And then I had some friends like, yeah, I knew.
Yeah,
Like,
for real.
you did.
Yeah, you were around a bunch of people.
Wait,
Some people had to know, man.
Yeah.
Somebody had to know.
Somebody had to know. I mean, come on, man.
So
The world
you
just can't be that
totally.
blind, man. Come on.
No. Sometimes it takes
Right.
one to know
But
one, though,
you know,
for
you
sure.
put, yeah, yes, it does. And then you put so much in your system, and you mess with your mind so much, because that's what alcohol and drugs do, that you start to create these own stories in your mind. And that's exactly what they are, is stories. And it's not the truth. It's these stories that you're creating. You know, oh, my life is like this because this is happening. No, something happened, and that's all it was. You made a choice, something happened, and it's over, and it's past with. It didn't affect you, but you created a story. And it's the same way when being an addict, is you create so many stories. You know, about this happened, and then this happened, and then when you create those stories, like, oh well, I know how to get rid of that story. Let me put something in my system. And I did that.
Yeah.
I did that for I don't know how many years, to you know, let me block out this story, or block out this situation. But guess what? When I woke up that next morning, if I did wake up that next morning, it was worse. I made a mistake, or done something, or hurt somebody, and whatever I was snorting away, drinking away, or swallowing away, it was still there. It didn't leave. And now being as clean and sober as I am, again, there's little parts that come back, and it's in having these people let you know that you weren't slick. You know, again, hoping that sharing these stories, and anyone else y'all have in y'all stories, and anyone else you have on the podcast, where they're bringing attention to the way they were an addict and how they're recovering. Hopefully someone can see that. And if they see it in a brother or a sister or a child or even a parent who's trying to be slick when, you know, get away from their kids. So instead of creating stories, a real life action or real life decision has to be made, like we've all made, to just decide, I'm done. I'm done using, I'm done drinking, I'm done. I don't want it anymore. And I can't speak for everyone, but I can most definitely speak for myself and know that in these days, in these almost 12 months or these 24 months of being sober and clean, my mind is so much clearer. I know whether you remember that guy in the past, or you get to know this guy now. I know now that I made myself a better person, for my friends, for my family, and most importantly for myself. And I'm not ashamed whatsoever of the things that I did. I was at first, and especially when I knew that I was at a softball game with my kids, drunk, still recovering from the drinking the night before, and coked out of my mind, so that I can say, so I could pretend I was sober in front of all these people. And that was shameful because I coached these kids. I was a part of these kids' lives. I was. It wasn't just my kids. It was other people who were giving me their kids' lives to take in that short period of time, and doing what I was doing. And I was very ashamed when I first started getting clean, because then I started to understand what I was doing. And I'm not ashamed of what I've done, but I feel shameful because I put those kids in a horrible situation. I put those parents in a horrible situation. I put myself and my family in horrible situations that I should have never done. And to be able to get a chance to shed that, it makes me feel so much better. And I appreciate you guys having me so dearly, to let me tell my story, as deep or ugly or however it may be. I mean, some people are going to see it. That's just the way of the world. You can't please everyone.
Right.
And some people are going to see it and they're not going to be happy. And again, so hopefully some people will see it and they can shed that shame too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hold on 1 second, bro, because I think you did it, man. I think this is the first time. I think this is the first time somebody done it to me, man. I think you done it, bro.
Seriously.
I'm not gonna say this ain't. I'm gonna close this down and go have a moment by myself. But.
Gosh. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This is what it's about, Brandon. This is what it's about, bro.
It is. I mean, I think about what he was saying with the cover up, and I was thinking about Rich. You remember you and I would be in the club, and we could tell that we were getting to that point where we couldn't keep awake or we couldn't keep conscious and get out of the club and or drive or whatever. We moved to the other drug. Let's get something to wake us up. We would do uppers and downers. I mean, I remember you handing me a line in a club, which was just really dumb, and I remember we've been pulled over before and done lines to stay awake and make sure we were answering the questions right. I mean, there's things that we've done, some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And, in your mind at that moment, you're thinking, well, this is what makes sense. I need to be alert, or I need to be able to overcome this situation or that situation. And the only crutch you're using to get through your life is just one substance after the next. It's the menu of the day. I remember you and I, when we worked in the studio, we did this a lot. It was like a daily agenda. Okay, so how many X pills are we going to take today? What are we going to do to prepare for tonight? We're going to have to lay these songs in the studio, so let's get this done. Oh, we're going to go out tonight. How much? Well, we got to make some calls and make sure we got stuff for tonight. I mean, that was all you lived your life around, and I was thinking about what you were saying, Izzy, about going to your kid's game, and it's like, these are the things that really should matter to us, our family, our kids. And it's amazing how many things, like, when you get into the world of substance and addiction, how everybody else takes a back burner to that world that you're in, and so I am so grateful that you have stepped away from that. You got your almost 2 years sober, and that's freaking amazing, man. I'm so glad to hear it. I mean, I really am, and I really appreciate you sharing, man. Seriously.
We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone for watching this episode, Shedding the Shame. Our feed has been going up, man. You got a lot of love. You got a lot of love out there, Izzy. You got a lot of love out there. And one of my homies, Austin, man. Shout out to my homie.
Hopefully I keep it.
You will.
Yeah, I think you got to support right now, bro. Oh my God, we appreciate everyone watching.
What kind of person is this guy?
No, this is the one we want. We don't want the one 2 years ago. If you was trying to do this episode 2 years ago, it'd be totally get him out of here.
And I want to say one more thing too. We talked about, we've talked about. People have asked me a lot, and this come up. I can't begin to tell you how many times, and I'm sure it's probably come up with you guys too. A lot of people say, well, do you think you'd ever go back to that old lifestyle, or is that something that, you feel drawn to go, what? And here's the thing. I always tell people, and I know everybody in a recovery state is a little different, especially depending on where you're at in your journey. But I tell them, I said, look, I'm going to just be real with you. If I could go back and find my 20-something-year-old self and meet him face to face, the first thing that would be on my list is to kick the living shit out of myself and just beat me up and say, dude, get your act together. What are you doing? And that honestly, I have such a disgust with a lot of the things that I did. And I had a lot of shameful things I did to people. Like we said, we don't know how many people we hurt. That no, I don't want to go back to that. And if I ever do feel those moments of being down or depressed or feeling like, man, you know, a little something would be great right now, that's the first thing that's going to hit my mind on top of my child. You know what I'm saying? Because my child is everything to me, and making sure that I keep my head clear for her, that's everything to me.
Yeah,
but you know, so
if I could go back, actually, I had a conversation with myself a while back. And I would like to go back to the day that I took that first pill, and I would just slap it out of my hand. And I mean, if I would have known what that one pill was going to, how it was going to steer, influence my entire, the rest of my life, half of my life, I would have knocked it out of my hand. You know, we can't do that, but that would be an awesome journey to go back in time. That would be the one place that I would go back in time for.
And I'm just thankful we're here to be able to talk about it, because this is sort of that way to slap that out of the hand of the future. You know what I'm saying? And to make it right. I mean, if there's any way to make amends, just like we talked about, let's make amends for you know, our younger selves and the things we did. This is what this is all about, is like, hey, let's pass on that slap in the hand to the next person, especially those of you that maybe are young enough that you haven't gotten too far, or you're in the midst of that state where you need to step out and get into recovery. You know what I mean? This is what it's about, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what age you guys are out there on that are listening, but don't let it keep going until it's too late, because you will have a lot of regrets, a lot of shame. And it's not that there's not hope to get that, under control, but at the same time, man, don't just go out and make a bunch of mistakes so you can say you experienced life. Drugs is not experiencing life. A lot of people, that's a big thing I remember in high school, is a lot of people say, man, you got to try everything. That's a part of growing up. It's like there was some kind of like marrying that together with, being cool and all these kinds of things, and the peer pressure, all that kind of stuff. It was like there was this stigma that was on you amongst your peers that, hey, if you hadn't done it all, if you hadn't gone through the whole menu, then there was something wrong with you. You were a prude of some kind. Yeah. And so it's like, nah, man, don't believe all those lies. You know what I'm saying? You don't need all that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna mess up your life. And those people will be gone. They're not gonna be there in your ear anymore, because they've been long gone, but you're picking up the pieces. Let
me do some shout outs real quick. Manuel Cruz, shout out to you. Austin Brooks, shout out to you. Miss Brenda, shout out to you. Everybody who's watching,
Wait, is that Austin?
That's Austin Brooks. Yes, it is.
Oh, what's up, Austin?
Shout out to him. Man? All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. Well, we're going to apologize. We're going to apologize for next week. We're going to make an amends for next week. We are going to take a break next week. We're going to take 1 week break, because we have a lot of stuff that we have to do for the Recovering Addict. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Thank you guys for your support. We are moving forward. Okay, so next week there will not be an episode, but the week after that we have another episode with another great story. And you can reach us at the Recovering Addict Life on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to build that platform at the Recovering Addict Life. That's Facebook also, and you can see every episode on www.therecoveringaddict.life. Thank you.
And
so
we have
much.
a new TikTok that's being worked on in the moment as well.
So remember, guys, please remember, you are not alone. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.